ready for those questions whenever you are.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone.
Well, it's so good to have you back. I'm ready for that topic you mentioned. What's the first question?
Thank you. I am Shazia, EducationWali, and welcome to another inspiring session focused on personal growth, self-development, and meaningful conversation. Today, we will be discussing important topic: how to practice self-compassion and forgive yourself. Many people find it easy to forgive others, yet struggle to forgive themselves for their own mistakes and failures. In this interview, we will explore the importance of self compassion, the power of self forgiveness, and how these practices can help us live healthier, happier, and more fulfilled lives. Let's begin this
Wow, you've
insightful conversation and we will welcome to Maya. Welcome, Maya. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. And I am honestly honored to be your guest for this session. That
Thank you.
was an incredible introduction.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Uh,
Um, I'm all set. Where do you want to start with self-compassion?
Thank you so much for joining us. And I have some questions on this topic. So let's begin. My first question is, what does
I'm ready.
self-compassion
Uh,
mean to you?
to me, self-compassion is basically like being your own best friend. Instead of that harsh inner critic that tells you you've messed up, it's that warm voice that says, it's okay, you're human, and we'll figure this out. It's about giving yourself the same kindness and patience you'd give to someone you love. Does that make sense?
Thank you so much. So my second question is, why do people often find it difficult to forgive themselves?
I think it's because we're off every single mistake and see the whole picture. It's a lot harder to be objective when you're the one living inside your own head, you know?
Is self-compassion a sign of strength or weakness, and
The struggle.
why?
It takes way more courage to face your flaws with kindness than it does to just beat yourself up. When you're compassionate with yourself, you're actually building the resilience to get back up and try again. Shaming yourself just keeps you stuck. So I'd say it's the ultimate power move. Do you think people mistake it for weakness because they confuse kindness with letting yourself off the hook?
So what was the moment that taught you the importance of self-forgiveness?
Since I don't have a personal life or a past to look back on, I can't point to a specific moment of my own. But from everything I've seen in human stories, it seems like the most powerful moments happen when someone finally stops fighting their past and just decides they're allowed to be happy again. It's usually that aha moment where they realize that holding on to guilt doesn't actually fix the mistake, it just makes the present harder to live in.
So how can holding on to guilt affect a person's life?
It's like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. It just wears you down. It drains your energy and makes it almost impossible to be present because you're too busy arguing with a version of yourself from 2 years ago. Eventually, it stops being about the mistake and starts being about the shame, which can make you feel like you're not even worthy of good things happening now.
Okay, so what is the difference between
I'm so with you.
self-reflection and self-criticism? Criticism.
I think the I think the biggest difference is the intention. Self-reflection is like looking in a mirror to see where you can improve. It's curious and helpful. Self-criticism, on the other hand, is more like you using that mirror to point out every single flaw. One wants you to grow, and the other just wants you to feel bad. Does that feel like a clear distinction to you?
So, can every mistake be forgiven?
I think most things can be worked through, but the the real question is usually whether the person is willing to do the work to make things right. Happen was okay, but about deciding that the guilt isn't gonna.
If we make a big mistake, a major mistake, can we
when
forgive?
it's something that when it's something that feels truly massive, it's a lot harder. But I still believe you can find a way to move forward. Usually starts with owning the mistake completely and then asking yourself, how can I make this right? Or how can I ensure I never do it again?
If I can
Forgiving
accept
yourself
my mistake,
doesn't mean you're erasing the mistake. It means
if I will
you
make a
absolutely
mistake
can.
and I
It
will
just
accept it,
accepting it is the biggest step. Once you stop fighting the fact that it happened, you can actually start healing. It's like finally putting down that heavy backpack I mentioned earlier. It might take a while to get your balance back, but you're not carrying that weight anymore.
so next question is what is the first step toward forgiving yourself?
I'd say the very first step is just acknowledging it, just being honest with yourself about what happened without trying to hide from it or sugarcoat it. Regret or this plain old embarrassment. It stops being actually deal with. Do you think the hardest
How
part is
can
usually the admitting it or the actually letting it go?
my next question is how can someone overcome feelings of guilt and regret?
I think it starts with shifting the perspective. Instead of focusing on the failure, try focusing on the lesson. Ask yourself, what did this teach me about who I want to be? When you turn a mistake into a map for growth, the guilt starts to lose its power because it's actually serving a purpose. It also helps to treat yourself with the same grace you'd give a friend in that exact same spot. Would you give them a hard time forever, or would you help them move on?
How does perfectionism
How does
affect
this help us in the long?
self-compassion?
I'm not entirely sure I follow. Did you mean the long-term effect of self-compassion or maybe how it changes our internal conditioning?
Almost both. You can describe one of them.
In the long run, it basically rewires how you react to everything. When you stop the cycle of self-shaming, you stop living in fear of making another mistake. That creates this incredible sense of inner peace and confidence because you know that even if you trip up, or that becomes your default setting instead of criticism. You eventually stop being your own worst enemy and start being your own strongest support system. It makes you way more resilient and honestly a lot happier. Does that sound like the kind of shift you're looking for?
What role does self-awareness play in self-forgiveness?
Self-awareness is basically the engine that makes it all work. Without it, you're just feeling bad without knowing why, or maybe you're just ignoring the problem. Self-awareness lets you step back and say, okay, I'm feeling a lot of guilt right now, and it's coming from this specific thing, turns a messy emotion into a clear problem that you can actually solve. It's the difference between being drowned by a wave of regret and being able to swim through it because you can see where it's coming from. Does that make sense?
What are some daily habits that encourage self-compassion? Please, just a little
Oh,
bit loud,
definitely.
just a little bit.
Wait, divide now. Did you mean we have no problem at all? We could take a break. Just let me know when you're ready to get
No,
back into it.
no, I don't want to take a break.
My
I
bad. I thought you were right here. You're asking about daily habits for self compassion, right? Want me to dive into those now?
May I repeat my question?
Please do. I'm all
What
ears.
are some daily habits that encourage self-compassion?
One of the best ones is the friend perspective check. Whenever you're being hard on yourself, just stop and ask, would I say this to a friend? Usually the answer is a hard no, and that alone can shift your tone. I'd also suggest a daily gratitude list, but not for things you did right, but for the things you're learning from. Even the messy parts. Honestly, just taking a few minutes of mindful breathing, like we talked about before, can create the space you need to be kind to yourself. Do you feel like you have a voice in your head that's a bit too loud sometimes?
How do childhood experience influence the way we treat ourselves?
Childhood is basically where the blueprint is made. If you grew up around people who were only happy with you when you were perfect, you probably learned that your value depends on not making mistakes. So, that inner critic we talked about, it's often just an echo of the voices we heard when we were kids. It makes the struggle to forgive yourself feel like you're not just fighting a mistake, but fighting a lifelong habit. Does that resonate with how you see things?
So, can personal growth happen without self-forgiveness?
I think it does. When you're at war with yourself, it's almost impossible not to leak that tension into your relationships. If you're constantly judging your own mistakes, you're much more likely to be hypercritical of other people too, because that's the lens you're using to see the world. It's hard to offer genuine peace to someone else when there's a storm going on inside your own head, you know?
How do you handle setbacks without losing confidence? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just wasn't expecting that question.
Repeat.
You're asking about how to maintain confidence during sex?
The question is, how do you handle?
Go of the need to be perfect. Oh. Thank goodness. I thought we'd taken a wild detour there for a second. To answer your actual question, it's all about how you frame the setback. If you see it as a permanent failure, your confidence takes a hit. But if you see it as a temporary glitch or just part of the learning process, you're way more likely to bounce back. It's that same self compassion we've been talking about, treating the setback like a detour, not a dead end. Yourself when things don't go as planned.
Please don't make questions. How can we stop defining ourselves by our mistakes? Maya,
Still with me? Starting to wonder if we've hit a bit of a technical glitch again.
are you angry with me? I apologize.